Hi, this is János, it is Real World Audio. And as you have guessed, my computer is still under repairs. and today, this is something really special. As you see, I have an unusual background behind me. Yes, you have guessed it right. I'm at work. This is my workplace. And don't worry, I'm not doing this on the clock. This is already past 8 p.m. for me, so most of my colleagues have long gone home. Just to show you, there's part of the lab for you. Anyway, now going back to the topic today, which is I had excellent comments on my last video, which was loudspeaker efficiency, amplifier power, ... exploring a long and winding story. So just go back and watch that video, or maybe even if you don't watch it, just read the comments. They are truly fantastic. And I'd like to just focus on one of them, John Shaw's comment, and he wrote, high efficiency speakers usually means very little bass and lots of mid bass, as low bass takes power. So my take on this is that it depends a lot on the implementation of the loudspeaker. And yes, I would say that most commercial high efficiency speakers are not really well done, especially if they are really efficient. I mean, going to the ultra high efficiency, then what we are seeing is that they have the compression drivers or whatever tweeters they have that they can work in a really high efficiency, and they are not leveled properly with the bass drivers. So basically the tweeters are like 5-10 dB hotter than the bass unit, and that gives this lean sound. And in that case, I wouldn't even say lots of mid bass. The mid bass and the deep bass are both just chugging along and really like, what's that? You kind of get captivated right away by the astonishing speed of the mids and the highs, but after like 10 minutes you start noticing, where's the bass? What's happening? And if you crank it up loud enough, oh, now I can hear the bass, then the highs are so overpowering that you have a bad tinnitus. So what can happen? How can we fix that? Well, you need to level that bass up, and the only way you can do that is by increasing the cabinet size. And that's why commercial high efficiency speakers have issues with the bass, because the cabinets are not insufficient. They are not sufficient to create the bass with the efficiency that would match the mid-range and the highs. And when I look at John's comment, the end of it, look at that. I'm reading from my computer screen. That's why I'm looking over. Lots of mid bass as low bass takes power. So actually that's a different scenario, and it's plaguing every kind of loudspeakers. And the issue with that is bass reproduction from any kind of loudspeaker technology is a huge difficulty, a huge problem. And that's because the drivers are too small to reproduce those frequencies. So they either need horn loading, which creates a gigantic horn to have bass deep enough, or you need a huge box size, or even if for high efficiency bass, or if you have a tiny box, a small box, then you would need to tune your port to a certain frequency to give you sufficient bass. And if we tune the port to a higher frequency, then you get a lot of mid bass, but the D bass poops out, and not because the D base needs a lot of power to reproduce, but because the cabinet is not tuned to reproduce any D base. It's tuned to reproduce mid base. Now, if you tune the cabinet lower to reproduce D base, then what's going to happen, that instead of this high mid bass peak, now we are tuning it to the D base, but that there's no such miracle that now that all the level is coming up, so now we have more D base as well. No, the driver has the same energy output regardless of where you tune it. So if you tune it lower, then the mid bass region goes lower in efficiency, but the D bass comes out. So now it's leveled up, so you have D bass and mid bass, but a couple dB lower efficiency compared to the tuning for the mid bass. And that's why most companies have not good enough drivers to reproduce the D bass as well, and they just either keep the mid bass high and let you buy a subwoofer so you can punch the bass with a subwoofer. But if you properly tune your port to reproduce the D bass, then you have the D bass as well, but then you need a powerful enough woofer and a big enough cabinet to give you that SPL to match the mid-range and the high frequencies. And that's why we are seeing very little of that in commercial applications, because most commercial applications go for the smallest possible cabinet sizes, because the big ones are much harder to sell, and the prices just go up, way up, as the cabinet size goes up, because it's a commercial thing. If it's a much bigger box, the shipping increases tremendously, and storage increases tremendously, so all the associated costs just go up to the sky. So anyway, that's my take on this comment. And if you read Eduard's response, he has a very insightful response for that, what's happening with the high efficiency speakers. Why is it that we either get low efficiency with a lot of bass, or we get high efficiency but no bass? But that's not how things should be. That was just a decision that most companies made to go either way. And that decision was made, number one, to keep the cabinet size small, and number two, to keep the prices low. But in the past, there were some drivers, some companies that made the decision to keep the efficiency high and also to keep the low extension as well. And it's not just the past. Today also there are drivers that you can get that produce that type of thing, to have both high efficiency and low extension, but you need a driver that's built to do that. And most of the drivers today are not being built for that, because that's not where the consumer market shells out the big money. So thank you, Eduard, and thank you, John, for your comments, and also there's many more comments to read in this post, just absolutely fantastic. But my time is running out, and I'm just have to upload this video from the phone, and I don't want to make it too long. So thank you for watching. I hope you like this unusual format, and I hope I can return back to the normal ones soon. Bye bye.